All right, I just took the recycling. So come back and there's a bloody error, isn't there? So not good enough. Windsurf, just fix it, would you? I mean, at a I'm very grateful for this tech. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's pretty repetitive. You punch in some you punch in some questions, ask it to do some stuff. You're like, this broke, go and fix this. It makes stuff. I think this would have been so much more rewarding. Figuring out how to do it and then bringing it into reality and bringing it to life. Whereas I feel like, oh, look at this. It's added it's added a pricing table. That's fancy. It's also added a completely different nav, which is fine, I guess. It's weird, it's weird how it does stuff. What is this? Sticky top header thing. Is that just yeah. That's kind of cool how it does the frosting thing, I guess. I mean, what else could we put up there? Just this quote details, quotes clients, jobs, pricing. I'm just going to try and remove it for now because I don't think we need it. Except the sticky top nav. I'm going to figure out how to get the audio transcription thing to work in that little blinky ask anything because it makes me sound super lazy. I'm not lazy. I don't want to sit there dicking around with it, typing stuff into it. I just want to be able to say it and watch it happen. Did that do anything? Client still doesn't work. Quotes works. Invoices works. Sometimes I find, and this is weird, you're better off moving on. So let's do it this way. Create a expenses page that has a expenses index and expenses detail pages for individual expenses. Ensure that any expense that is uploaded, the image can have OCR performed on it and pulls out structured data for the expense. Make sure that the expense can be tied to an individual staff member or individual job or individual item. It's weird with Super Wisp Behave to hit that stop thing twice. It kind of annoys me. Gosh, being ungrateful today, aren't I? Oh, come on. The OCR thing will probably break it as well because it's going to go oh, now we need an OCR library, and I'll go and try and find an OCR library and install this OCR library. I just want the UI really, because then we just figure out all the more complicated stuff later. Often what happens is you spend all this time trying to get super detailed, and I think it just needs to be simple. All of it needs to be simple. And it's probably in that book, I forget what it's called, but the How to Build Software book. It all just needs to be simple because as soon as you ratchet up the complexity, everything starts to break really easily. So we'll punch out an expenses page, index, and detail. And then we'll do timesheets. We'll do schedule. We'll do React schedule for schedule. And then we'll try and do some reports. Everything's broken, but look at it. Great. I mean, imagine doing this by hand. You'd just be going in circles, just trying to fix stuff constantly. Oh, cool. It's made a little expenses folder, expenses page. It's got stuff in it. UI card, UI select, UI table, components, new expense modal. I think the real opportunity is getting rid of this whole thing. 99% of all people out there who are not developers don't want this. This can just go away. They don't care. They do not care what technology it's made in. They do not care about the folder structure. They don't care about the code formatting. They just care if it's got utility on the front end. So I see all of this stuff converging on the simplest interface possible, where they can just say what they want and they get it without all the hoo-ha. And if you've ever used ChatGPT or Copilot, those are simplistic tools, and they're intentionally simplistic. They cater to the majority of the market, and they exist purely to cater to as many people as possible. It's the widest possible thing you can build. Even when you build something niche and specific, well, for me at least, the more I play with it, the more I look at it, I'm like, this should just be simpler. This should just, like, if you're trying to OCR an image or scan an image to make a PDF, why do you need this like bespoke Adobe Acrobat, Microsoft Lens scanner type implementation when you can just have like an uber generic app that lets you jump in and go like, here, scan this for me. Let's just accept this before we've even looked at it. Great. We have the expenses index. It's got sort by statuses, which works. It's got add an expense modal, adds an item, amount, date picker. Looks a bit shit. We can fix that later. Staff member, related job, which is cool, notes, and then you can submit the expense. It's got that little total expense thing. This is a bit random. I mean, we didn't tell it to do anything, but it's random in the sense that what time frame is it over? It should have a like greater than, or compared to the last 30 days. Hitting receipt does nothing. Don't really expect it to. Clicking that takes us into the individual expense. Oh, that's pretty cool. Approve, reject, edit, OCR data. You need to find an OCR library for this. I would probably just use Flash 2.0. And it's got an image of the individual receipt. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. So now let's do the same thing for create. I don't even remember what we said. Let's go up here and swap this for timesheet page that has timesheets index and timesheet detail pages for individual timesheets. Ensure that the expenses, the timesheets that are uploaded, the timesheet can be submitted, reviewed, and accepted or rejected, and show graphs of running totals and hours per week and capacity. Do